made it more kind of frightening. It was kind of like, okay, who's kind of watching this?
A Crystal family is taken aback after receiving an anonymous letter about a sign in their yard. The Butlers received a note suggesting they remove a Black Lives Matter sign from their front yard. As Sonia Goins reports, this isn't the first time someone in the neighborhood got a letter like this.
The neighborhood is great. We live in a wonderful part of Crystal.
The Butler family has lived in their Crystal home for almost 11 years, and this is the first time they've received a complaint from an alleged neighbor.
Nobody has said anything about us, so I was like, who is upset about this?
They recently received this anonymous letter in the mail.
It says, "Dear neighbor, I wonder if you are aware that your fist sign conveys an implicit threat of violence."
The sender has a problem with the Black Lives Matter sign, which has been up in their front yard for over a year.
The closed fist also implies use of force for lack of compliance. Do you really believe you can change hearts and minds by force?
The letter didn't threaten the family, but the Butlers say it was intimidating on purpose.
It does concern me for the safety of my family.
Who's kind of looking at us and trying to bully us into taking our sign down or making us feel bad for supporting Black people?
It seems somewhat cowardly. I guess I wish they'd be wanting to talk to me face to face, at least have some sort of discussion, some sort of dialogue.
The Butlers aren't the only ones to receive a letter like this. A lady down the street says she received a similar note after putting up a Black Lives Matter sign about a year ago.
It's probably somebody who's driving by or maybe visiting one of the businesses around the area.
The two say they are passionate about showing support for their diverse neighbors.
We're showing a fist. We stand in unity with our neighbors. We should love our neighbors. I mean, ultimately, that's what this is all about.
Black people are people. They're made in the image and likeness of God, and so I support them.
The couple says they aren't planning on taking down the sign. In fact,
I've contacted a Black business owner to make me a bigger sign so more people can see it.
In Crystal, Sonia Goins.
I see you, I hear you, and I stand with you.
CCX News.
Long overdue news. That's the reaction to a bill getting approved and signed that includes bonus pay for pandemic frontline workers. The bill would make available money to roughly 667,000 workers, including nurses, grocery store clerks, and child care workers. Bonus checks would amount to roughly $750 a person. It's expected to take months to set up a system to process the applications and then send out the money. In addition, the bill includes $2.7 billion to replenish the state's unemployment insurance trust fund, which was depleted by requests during COVID-related lockdowns. There's a new restaurant coming to Plymouth. People's Organic Plymouth will open up in a former Caribou Coffee location on Vicksburg Lane North. That is in the shopping center where there's an Applebee's and Ray Azteca. The owner, Michael Swafford, told the city council that he has options that include vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, and farm-to-table food and more. He also said that since the restaurant buys all of their products locally, their menu prices haven't shot up yet. The owner of the Plymouth location also operates the Minnetonka restaurant. They hope to open up this July. April produced some storms. It also provided a lot of wet and cold. April was the 16th wettest and 14th coldest on record for the Twin Cities. Tracking all of that cold and rain is a New Hope man. He's done so for 54 years. He also highlights a need for new weather watchers. Delane Cleveland has a story.
It's not too muddy here.
Everybody has a calling in life.
This is the rain gauge. It's 8-inch.
And for New Hope resident Steve Reckers, it didn't take long for him to discover that he has a passion for the weather.
I've been interested in it since I can remember, 4 or 5 years old probably. Always just very interested in temperature and how much snow was falling, how much rain was falling. This is a hygrometer for humidity.
Several times a day, he uses the equipment in his backyard to measure the temperature and the precipitation, which we got a lot of in April.
I reported 4.71 inches of rain, which is above normal about 1.25 inches. Yeah.
He knows that it's above normal because in a file cabinet in his basement,
It's a lot of stuff.
he has records dating back to the late 1950s.
Here's November.
And every day, he sends the data he compiles to the Community Collaborative Rain, Hail, and Snow Network, also known as CocoRAS.
He's really the the weather historian of the Northwest Metro. And
Michelle Margraf of the National Weather Service in Chanhassen leads the regional CoCoRaHS network.
Has the date on top.
And she's looking for more dedicated weather watchers like Steve to measure precipitation, snowfall, and snow depth.
These manual measurements are vital to our understanding of the climate, and we are simply grateful to everybody who would be willing to help share this information.
It's really been a hobby and really something that I really enjoy doing.
Steve is one of 20,000 people nationwide who take on this role. And while he receives no compensation for this hobby, he has the satisfaction of knowing that the data he collects can be put to good use. He hopes others follow in his footsteps.
It presents a pretty good picture of what's happening throughout the state, in terms of precipitation and so forth.
In New Hope, Delane Cleveland, CCX News.
Some staff members at Robbinsdale area schools are getting a special surprise this week.
You are the winner of a $1,700 check.
The Seven Dreams Education Foundation is awarding its hands-on learning grants. At Cooper High School, Carolina Cavillo received $1,700 for art therapy classes. Cavillo and colleague Carissa Stevens hope the grant will provide students with a safe place to express themselves.
Just to feel a little bit more at ease after having a long day, sometimes of dealing with different things happening in the classroom, dealing with different things, happening in the hallways, and just kind of having that space to relax and then use art as therapy for them to feel better.
Seven Dreams Education Foundation is handing out 12 grants at Robbinsdale area schools this week. Each grant ranges from $500 to $2,500.
It wasn't great golf weather, but 16 boys teams from around the metro and the state teed off over the weekend at the 36-hole preview tournament.
Day one of the annual Preview Invitational at Edinburgh, USA in Brooklyn Park. This is Kagan Kohler of Maple Grove with a nice approach shot on the 17th hole. He would two-putt from there on his way to a round of 76. The Crimson are the only local team in the tournament. Mason Roloff of Spring Lake Park makes birdie on 18. Part of his first round score of 2 under par 70, Spring Lake Park as a team finishes second in the event. After an all-night rain into Saturday, the weather cleared just enough to get round 2 in. This is Blake Northhagen of Maple Grove teeing off on hole 1. He comes in with a 2-round score of 154 to finish second for the Crimson. Maple Grove's Ryan Stendahl rolls in this birdie putt on the par 5 first. He shoots rounds of 73 and 79 and places 16th overall in the tourney. Crimson sophomore Gavin Grahak with a long birdie try on number 5. He gets it close to the hole and would make par, shoot a second round score of 77. Eastview's Joey Rollwing rolls in a 25-footer on hole 1 for Eagle. He finishes in a tie for third place in the tournament behind Jake Birdwell of Spring Lake Park and Nate Stevens from Northfield. Jack Wetzel and Edina are team champions. They finished with a score of 590, 2 shots ahead of Spring Lake Park. Maple Grove finishes 5th.
The Hamline Elite Meet brings together some of the best track and field athletes from across the state and across classes. On Friday night, after a 2-year hiatus, the meet returned. Here's Jason Malillo with highlights.
A less than pleasant night for track and field, but still some great performances. Girls 1,600-meter run, Hopkins freshman Sydney Drevlo continues to make a name for herself, winning the mile with a time of 4:56.52.
The past few meets I've had no competition, and I knew it would be fun to have competition because I always do so well with competition, and it's kind of fun running in the rain. It's cooler, so you don't get as hot, and I thought it was a really fun experience.
In the girls' discus, Champlain Park's Addison Kapitsky throws a best of 130 feet 6 inches, taking second place. Girls' 400-meter dash, Maple Grove's Jordan Borsch wins, holding off Wyzetta's Grace Weber. Then in the 200-meter dash, another gutsy run by Borsch, and she wins again. A big night for the Crimson Junior.
I was looking forward to this a lot. I mean, with having 3 classes at state now, it's talent so divided, but here at the elite meet, all the classes are together, so I'm able to compete against very talented athletes I wouldn't be able to at the state meet, so I was very excited.
Girls 800-meter run, Burnsville's Zoe Dundon is the winner, but watch the closing kick by Wayzata's Tegan Anderson as she sprints for second place and gets it. Girls shot put, Kapitsky throws a best of 40 feet, 5.25 inches, taking second place again. And in the boys 1600, Lakeville North's Andrew Casey wins. Armstrong's Noah Brecker is fourth. Jason Malillo, CCX Sports.
Thanks, Jason. The Armstrong baseball team has struggled early this season. They had a memorable ending in their game Friday. Jay Wilcox has the details.
Ryan Holmgren and Elk River visiting Brian Sobiak's Armstrong Falcons in Northwest Suburban Baseball. Tied at 1 in the first when Armstrong's Bryce Campbell drives it to the gap in right center. Dayton Franke scores on the play, and when the Elks misplay it, Campbell isn't far behind as the Falcons go up 3-1 after 1. But the Elks take control in the middle innings. In the third, Ryan Weatherly gets a hold of one and it just clears the fence in right for a 2-run homer. It's 4-3 Elks, and they add 2 more in the fourth. But Armstrong rallies late. Down 6-4 in the bottom of the seventh, Franke connects. His blast clears the bases for a game-winning grand slam as Armstrong pulls out a thriller 8-6. Jay Wilcox, CCX Sports.